What is going on, YouTube? It is your boy MrBaboon recording a reaction video. So this time I'm on a new setup, smaller TV. Pretty happy about that. I will say better for me to have it on my new table and everything. So everything's fitting on the table. You know what I'm saying? You guys can see the Xbox is right here. Right there, my drink, right there. You know, so definitely a much better table than what I had. This one's actually stable and everything. It has lights on it and stuff like that. It's pretty nice. So hopefully you guys are having a good day and everything. It is a new day, 12:06 a.m. in the morning, recording some reaction videos. I don't know how many I record today or all that good stuff, but the link will be down in the description. So if you guys want to check that out, make sure you guys do check that out down below in the description. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you guys never miss a video. So this time we are reacting to top 10 real life supervillains in history you never heard of. So, is there more to it? Hold up. Okay, no, that's it. Okay, so we're gonna go and get into this. Let's see.
Killers to corrupt leaders and all of the terrible in between.
Oh, and I will have the channel down in the link as well. So make sure you guys do go check them out, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Here is part 2 of the top 10 real-life supervillains in history you've never heard of. Before I dive into this list, you guys, I want to talk to you about today's sponsor quickly, Magellan TV. Magellan TV is a new documentary streaming service that really does have it all. While Magellan TV has documentaries on everything from history to science to nature and even space, it also has one of the most extensive true crime catalogs available on a streaming service, which is not an easy feat. There is an incredible selection of things to choose from, but they also add hours and hours of new content each week, which makes their selection always exciting. My favorite thing I have watched with my Magellan TV subscription is the documentary called The Family, Inside the Manson Cult. It basically walks you through what life was like inside of the terrifying Manson cult that was led by the monster Charles Manson himself. It includes real interviews with people who were actually there and in the cult, and it has reenactments, but not those like weird cheesy ones, actual good ones that really transport you to the time this all took place. It is a must watch for true crime lovers, and the best news is that you can check it out right now. Since it's the holiday season, Magellan TV wants to give most amazing top 10 viewers a new special offer. All you have to do is head to the link in the description box and you can get a buy one get one free offer on all annual memberships. This awesome deal is for a limited time only, so make sure you do not miss out and take advantage of this special holiday offer because it will not last long. Just click the link down below and get ready to binge all winter long. Alright, starting off our list, in our number 10 spot we have Jonathan Edema. Jonathan always dreamed of being in the special forces, and when he grew up he did just that. In 1984 he was discharged and he went on to become
Real fast, make sure you guys do get your drinks, your snacks, like your munchies, and you know what I'm saying. Make sure you guys get your kush as well. I got mine right here. I got a Colt. Technically got like a bowl pack left, and that's it. So make sure you guys get your, you know what I'm saying.
Involved in security forces in Haiti and Thailand before he returned home for a while. After the falling of the Twin Towers on that terrible 2001 day, Jonathan's new goal changed to finding the man responsible, which, however noble, and although we can perhaps understand why he wanted to dedicate his life to this, there are just ways to go about it, and his was not the correct one. John snuck into Afghanistan and set up shop where he won over the hearts of many journalists with his stories of working for the American government. He wasn't wasn't actually working for the government at this time, he just told everyone he encountered that he did. He created his own little force, which he called Task Force Saber 7, and basically together they kidnapped anyone they suspected was up to no good. These kidnapped people were then thrown into a sort of like prison that John had made himself, where they were treated terribly and harmed. Apparently some people who actually worked for the government were in on this and turned a blind eye, while some others apparently actually thought he worked for the government. In the end, he wrongfully arrested a member of the Afghan Supreme Court, which then sounded the alarm on his little operation. He was arrested and put in prison in Afghanistan, but just 3 years later he was pardoned and released by the then president. In our number 9 spot today we have Bernard Hunwick. Bernard Hunwick was nicknamed Barry the Bear and is one of the most infamous hitmen from the 80s and 90s, and despite that cute and cuddly nickname, he certainly is not that. He apparently has committed somewhere close to 300 killings while leading a group of 6 who were known for killing drug smugglers and the people they worked with in exchange for cash, of course. Despite his extensive list of crimes, he was only ever actually charged with one killing, which was that of smuggler and bail bondsman Richard Diego Messina. He ended up being found out due to a classic case of trusting the wrong person, as one of his accomplices turned into an informant. This led to him being caught in the midst of planning to kill an undercover FBI agent who was posing as a dealer. That probably would have been pretty terrifying for that agent to later find out he was just barely missed in this horrible plan. In 1999, Bernard was sentenced to 2 life sentences, and in 2013 he passed away in prison. In our number 8 spot today we have Papa Doc. Francois first won acclaim by fighting diseases, which gave him the nickname Papa Doc. In 1957, Francois was elected to be the president of Haiti because people believed in him, but unfortunately things took a dark turn. After foiling an attempted coup, he began to move his regime to a more
I wish that Shaq was my real life big brother.
What's up, little bro? Turns out some wishes.
autocratic or despotic one. He also attempted to solidify his ruling by incorporating elements of Haitian mythology into his propaganda. He named himself Baron Samedi and even created propaganda that depicted Jesus, showing him as some kind of a chosen one. From here he created his own police force, and they traveled throughout Haiti and began killing any and everyone who opposed him. Apparently it was so bad that Haitians were afraid to express any kind of discontent, even in private. In 1961 he was re-elected, which you might be sitting there wondering how. Well, of course no one was about to run against him because of that whole killing everyone thing that was going on. It is estimated that he and his force killed about 30,000 innocent people, and he remained as president until his death in 1971. In our number 7 spot today we have Adam Worth. Adam's story starts when he joined the Union Army during the Civil War, and through some clerical error was listed as deceased on paperwork. Instead of correcting this mistake, he took advantage of it by then touring different regiments, signing up to collect the bounty, and then disappearing again. After the end of the war, he ended up heading back to New York, where he is then said to have led a gang of pickpockets, and that sentence feels like a musical just waiting to happen. In 1896 he then rented a shop that was above a bank, and while the shop was said to sell some healing ointments, it was really just a front for the actual plan. Adam's plan was to dig a tunnel into the bank vault located below, and surprisingly it worked. After stealing the money, it is said that
you tell me that worked for him, but like, what? What?
He fled to London, where he then began living a lavish lifestyle full of yachts and racehorses, and he began planning the next heists in order to maintain this new life. He planned to hit banks located all over the world, and he even stole the portrait of the Duchess of Devonshire from the London Gallery just because he liked the Duchess. He was eventually caught, and he spent an appropriate 5 years in prison. After his release, he sold back the painting he stole to the gallery, which seems like the worst deal anyone has ever received. In our number 6 spot today we have Glennon Engelman. Glennon Engelman was actually a dentist, but also a...
Real fast, before we get on him. He sold it back to them.
contract killer, which is quite a combination. Over the course of 25 years, Glennon lived this double life, with his first killing being in partnership with his ex-wife of all people. She had married another man and raised his life insurance. This is when Glennon killed him, and the pair then split the earnings. This is the kind of format he used for the rest of his killing career, and while there's no normal way of being a career criminal, this is certainly quite a dark path. He committed at least 7 of these crimes, but there is a chance there are more we just don't know about. It is also believed that there may be a few he committed for no monetary gain at all, and it was just purely for the thrill of killing. He was in jail serving 2 life sentences when he ended up passing away in 1999 at the age of 72. In our number 5 spot today, we have Rex Velvet. Not all supervillains are created equal, and that is clear with Rex Velvet, as he is definitely not like anyone else on this list. Rex has not committed any killings or bank robberies or really very many crimes at all, to be perfectly honest. His supervillainy comes from his huge sense of theatrics and the desire to take down a vigilante hero. In 2011, there were reports in Washington that there was a very serious vigilante hero known as Phoenix Jones who was fighting crime on the streets. While I'm sure this person had the best intentions, this vigilante justice was only creating more problems in reality, and it was making the jobs of the police more difficult. That is when Rex Velvet was born. Rex donned a spiffy outfit and created videos that gave the hero an ultimatum in order to end his activities. Rex took his little persona even further and went on what some would call a terror spree, but truly in the most lighthearted way possible. The only real crime this man ever committed was stealing the Seattle Seahawks mascot Blitz, and that was part of a Make-A-Wish request, so I'm gonna go ahead and refer to that as not a crime. In the end, Phoenix Jones and the other vigilantes working beside him disbanded their group, which is truly for the best, and Rex responded to it in the most
Make-A-Wish. Like, come on. Come on, Ned. Let's go.
supervillain way possible.
Definitely not a crime, because I feel like it was like full Make-A-Wish, and like it wasn't like a hook for a crime. You know what I mean?
He of course invited them all to join his villainous squad. In our number 4 spot today, we have Martin Shkreli. This piece of work is in jail for a few different fraud charges, but he is best known for one in particular. He's been nicknamed Pharma Bro, which is the worst supervillain nickname since Captain Cold. In 2015, one of the pharmaceutical companies that he was the CEO of obtained the manufacturing license for the anti-parasitic drug Daraprim, which is most commonly used to treat an AIDS-related condition called toxoplasmosis. Nothing wrong with that. Obtaining a license to manufacture this medication that people need to live their lives. Cool. Except he took this medication that has no generic version and hiked the price astronomically so that people could choose between their health or literally anything else. I'm talking about insane price hikes. The pill went from $13.50 to $750 overnight. Some people call him a supervillain, but I just prefer the term piece of shit. In the end, because of this and other fraud charges, he was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison and $7.4 million in fines. In our number 3 spot today, we have Giuseppe Pino Greco. Giuseppe Greco is incredibly notorious for the role he played with the Sicilian Mafia as one of their hired killers. He played an extremely significant role in the Second Mafia War that took place in the 1980s, where he carried out dozens of killings. He is known for using his favorite weapon, which is an AK-47, which truly gives insight into just how gruesome his crimes really were. He was a high-ranking member of the Mafia, but he enjoyed getting his hands dirty and ended up leading what were called death squads. He did end up being killed, as can be a common thing in that line of work, and his body was actually apparently dissolved in acid, which is all kinds of messed up. Dang. He ended up still being sentenced to life in prison in absentia after his passing for 58 different killings. It definitely takes a lot for them to still try you after you pass away, but I think 58 killings is probably a fair reason to do so, and remember, those are just the ones that are publicly known about. In our number 2 spot today, we have Alexander Pichushkin. Also known as the chessboard killer, this is the man known to have killed at least 49 people, but it is possible that that number could be closer to around 60. His crimes took place between 1992 and 2006 in Russia, and he has said that his aim was to take the lives of 64 people, the same number as the squares on a chessboard. That is absolutely horrifying. He later recanted that statement, however, and somehow made it only more horrifying when he explained that he would have just continued killing indefinitely if he hadn't been caught. After being caught, he claimed that his crimes made him feel like God. He said, quote, "I feel like the father of all of these people since it was me who opened the door for them to another world. That is truly the most horrendous thing I think I've ever heard a person say." Luckily, he was caught and sentenced to life imprisonment, with the first 15 years of it being served in solitary confinement. In our number 1 spot today, we have Miguel Angel Trevino Morales. Miguel's story starts when he spent his teenage years in a gang in Texas before he joined a group of Mexican Special Force deserters who had their own sort of group. Before long, he became their number 1 man, and the group started smuggling drugs, investing into horse breeding, and they began conquering different areas of Mexico, all the while killing a lot of people. It is said that Miguel got so used to his life of killing that he couldn't sleep at night if he didn't take at least 1 life that day. He was known as Z40, and aside from the multitude of gruesome ways he would take lives, he was also known for carving a letter Z into their stomachs. If all of this wasn't enough for supervillain status, he is also said to have basically run like a training camp for people to become like him. He would force new recruits to take other people's lives in incredibly gruesome ways, and the whole thing is really just awful. In 2011, it is said that he pulled over buses that were full of immigrants who were headed to the United States, and he gave them all weapons and made them fight to the death. The winner of this he then brought into his gang. In 2013, thankfully his spree was brought to an end when he left his hideout and was picked up by the Marines. Despite all of these crimes, he did give up without incident. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thank you so much for checking it out.
Bro, that's fucked up. That shit's just fucked. You gotta stay safe. Watch each other's backs for real. It's crazy out there. You gotta stay safe. Positivity is key. Positivity is key. Motivation is key. Happiness is key. I'll see you guys in the next video. You gotta stay safe. All that good stuff.